Hey guys, so I wanted to come on real quick because I did not film or take clips of everything I ate today. So I wanted to come on and tell you what it was. It was not what I had meal prepped. Well, some of it wasn't. First of all, I had for breakfast McDonald's. So I had a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin and a hash brown, and a large Diet Coke, no ice. So that was breakfast. Around 11:30, my sugar started to dip. So my husband grabbed me some, I'm trying to remember, Smart Pop or something. I don't know, white cheddar popcorn. So I had 2 or 3 handfuls of that. And then my alarm for my blood sugar went off saying I was low. So then he made me one of my prepped breakfast sandwiches, which is the muffin with there's no egg. Muffin with sausage patty and cheese. So I had that. Those are not filmed. So far, everything else has been filmed. I do have clips of everything else. So I just wanted to come on and give you a heads up on that. I will put this at the beginning of my What I Ate Today video. Tomorrow, I have my appointment with my eye doctor, my specialist, for my eye injections. I have no idea how that's going to go. We'll see, because I was doing a lot of sad eating, even though I was trying to stay carnivore-ish keto. I was failing at it miserably. The crazy thing is that now that I'm prepping my meals, I'm actually staying more keto-ish than I was before. Because even my French toast bake was with keto bread. Now that was not keto because it had strawberry pie filling in it. Not a whole can, but it had a cup in there. In a 8 portion. It's supposed to be 6, but I cut it into 8 so it would fit my containers. I don't have one. My containers are not very big. Literally, that is probably the size of the portion for the French toast, and about half that, but a little bit longer for like the rice that you'll see in tonight's clip. Well, this morning's, you'll see this tomorrow morning. So they're not huge containers, and that's really helping me actually. Now the other containers, the one that have the chicken teriyaki, those are the ones that we also make our pizza bowls in, without the crust, without rice, without anything underneath, just the sauce, the meats, the cheese, veggies if you had those. Those are bigger. Those are probably about that big and maybe about that thick. So those are a little bigger, but my round bowls are probably maybe about that round, about that thick. They're more of a salad bowl type thing. I usually put my breakfast bowls in that because I do put sweet potatoes in there. Now let me tell you, I buy the frozen sweet potato bags in from Walmart, and I split those into 2. The rice that you will see tonight, the cauliflower rice that I had in my fajita bowl, that bag, which is very small, I split into 3s, and that filled that container where the rice is perfectly. And y'all, that rice, it's delicious. I am a huge fan of that Southwest rice. It's got a little kick to it, and I like spicy food. It's just enough kick. I like that. So I will definitely be using that in more meal preps. I was surprised. It was the first time I'd ever tried it, and I really liked it. But as I was saying before, I'm surprisingly more keto now than I was when I was trying to be keto. I am still trying to like lower the carbs, but I'm giving myself no restriction. I mean, if I wanted to go out and get a Big Mac at McDonald's, I would do that. But I'm trying not to do that. And I'm especially trying not to do that on a regular basis. The reason meal prep is important for me and for my family is because we are creatures of convenience here. And if it's convenient, we consume that. If it's not convenient, we do the next most convenient thing, which is usually swing through a drive-through or heat up a frozen pizza. It's usually carby and not that great for you, which is why the meal prep is really helping. Now, the breakfast sandwiches that you have seen, I made 22 of them. I made 8 with the spicy sausage, 8 with the maple, and 6 with the original, because my daughter wanted me to leave her 2 muffins to make her little pizzas. So I did that. But I made 22 of them, and they are completely gone. And I have had maybe, counting the one today, 3 of them. So my family, and the original ones, y'all, just so you know, my dog is super spoiled. And he's used to getting cheeseburgers from McDonald's or breakfast sandwiches or cheeseburgers. He's used to getting them. So the original ones were made with the intention of going to him. However, my daughter stole some of them. But in fairness to her, the other day he stole her sandwiches when she wasn't paying attention and she had to make her more. And he ended up with 3 of them that day. Way too much. I'm like, girl, you got to watch your food, because that dog, he goes crazy over things like that. So, in fairness, the dog ate some of them too. But, you know, we don't want to give him too much of that either, because it's not good for him either, just like it's not great for us. Now, I will say we all enjoyed them. And I think that prepping for not only me is a really good idea, because it keeps them eating at home too and going more towards the good things. My daughter has been begging me to make the Korean rice again, and I'm going to do that. But I have cauliflower rice for me, but I'm really craving a baked potato. And I really think it would be really good over a baked potato. So either I'm going to make some baked potatoes, or I'm going to run through Wendy's and just get a baked potato to put some over that for me. Either way, they love baked potatoes, so they will mow those down if I make them. It just depends on like what I can do time-wise, because if we have that tomorrow for dinner, I really need to get everything cooked tonight. Because after my eye injections, she has practice and then she has a match. Sorry guys, that's my neighbor's dog. But he's feisty. But she has practice and then she has a tennis match. So I will not, unfortunately, be able to go to that, because I will be dilated, and yeah, not the best conditions for me right now. Today it's sunny and 80, and tomorrow it's supposed to be, I think, 69 during her match, which is great, and windy, which is not so great for tennis, but you know, it is what it is. So that's what's going on tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be eating out tomorrow, probably breakfast and lunch. The goal is to have dinner made, so all we have to do is heat it up so that we don't have to eat dinner out too. That's the goal. It's a little more difficult because usually on the days I get eye injections, I'm really tired. Like it's not even that my body's tired, my eyes are tired. And I usually crash for an hour or 2. Plus I'm not seeing the greatest at that point, you know, until the dilation goes down a little bit and the medicine that they've put in my eye. So I kind of need to plan ahead for that. But if I can prep it tonight, I can just reheat it tomorrow. So I'll just make a little extra sauce with it tonight and then reheat it tomorrow. That's the plan if I can get that done. I don't know because my husband went to visit his mom, and so I have pickup duty. So I have to pick her up from tennis is what I'm saying. She has tennis practice every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So unless the weather, y'all, I cannot talk. Unless the weather is bad, they usually try to do it indoors, but if some other sport or like band is having any practices already, then they don't get the gym. And they can only do 2 different, trying to think what it's called. Practices, items, warm-ups. It's escaping my mind. Listen, mental clarity, let's talk about that. I ain't got it yet. Like, clearly, I've got the fog going on. And I think I've always had a touch of that, but it does feel a little more excessive than before. But if you notice, there are a ton of veggies in my meals. I love veggies. I've always loved veggies. And if I ever feel deprived on any eating plan, especially one that's restricted or strict, it's usually a veggie. For example, if I'm doing carnivore, keto, Atkins, low carb, I usually want sweet potatoes or baked potatoes. Other than that, you pretty much have veggies on anything you eat. I mean, Whole30 has limited ones. You limit the starch vegetables. So, but I am noticing that I'm a little more cloudy and there's more brain fog going on, is what I'm trying to say. My breathing was worse. My weight was going up, but now it's starting to come back down. My breathing is getting better. And y'all, I really honestly think that is 110%. I have asthma. I'm not denying that. I know it's pretty significant asthma. Not denying that. But I really think a lot of the breathing issues isn't as much the asthma as it is the weight. Because I've noticed that when the scale goes up, the breathing gets worse. And when the scale goes down, the breathing gets better. And to be honest, I don't know if that's a weight-related thing as much as it could be an inflammation and swelling-related thing. That would make a lot of sense to me. And I would think that would flare up asthma as well. Now, my daughter's pulmonologist told me, because I asked him, that her losing weight and even me losing weight would help and benefit us both with our asthma. Now, he is not my doctor, he's a pediatric one. But I asked him because my pulmonologist never told me that. And I was curious when we were talking about her. So that made a lot of sense to me with the way I've noticed my breathing trends. Now, lately, I've had my little oxygen checker out because I keep getting this band around my head. It feels like a tight band around your head. I don't know how else to describe it. And when I had the C and I was in the hospital and I was on oxygen, when my oxygen would dip, I would get that feeling until I got more oxygen in me. And so I've been checking, and the one day I checked, it was 88. Y'all, 88 is go to the ER. I was able to breathe it up to like 93, but I have noticed that it's like, see right now, it's 97, which is great. But I've been keeping an eye on it because of that band, and I still get the band occasionally, even though it's higher now. So I'm not exactly sure what that is. My blood pressure has been better than it was before It's almost normal, actually. So I don't know what the band is. I don't know if I'm just at the moment not breathing in enough oxygen, or I'm taking shallow breaths instead of deep breaths. So that is something I am trying to be more conscious of, because y'all, I want enough oxygen to go to my brain for sure. And maybe that's why it's so foggy. I don't know. But that is where I'm at on that. I am thoroughly enjoying doing the meal prep. I've noticed that I am getting somewhat of a sweet tooth in the evenings. Like I want something sweet. And usually what's around here are Oreos. We all love them. My daughter especially loves them. And my husband. But y'all, when I start, I don't want to stop with those. And I actually grab a few and tell her, take the package away. Because if you don't take that package away, I'm going to keep eating more. And I don't need more. I like the taste, and I want more of the taste. So, to avoid that, I'm going to try to find some lower carb sweets, like they're super dirty keto, but like the sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups, or even like some dessert, either in a smaller portion if it has real sugar in it, or sugar-free if I'm making it from scratch. That would be excellent to include in my meal prep, so that when I get that little sweet tooth, I've got a better choice than Oreos, and something I can control. I've noticed that with the meal prep, I don't tend to go back for seconds, because it's in the container, it's already portioned, and I think that is helping as well. I definitely feel more content with less. I can tell you for sure that if I were to scoop the fajitas that you're going to see tonight into like a dish, I would probably have 3 times that amount in my bowl. And that would not seem excessive to me. So, it's mostly veggies, even though cauliflower rice is veggies. But still, it tells me where my portion sizes are. Now, part of the problem with this is on Carnivore, you don't have to worry about that, right? You don't have to worry about you're eating a pound of meat or 2 tablespoons of butter. But since I'm not technically doing Carnivore, I do need to be concerned about that now. So I kind of have that distortion of portion sizes going on, because on Carnivore I didn't worry about it, but now I have to. So what looked normal on Carnivore is excessive on what I'm doing now. So I have to balance that and get reaccustomed. Let me tell you, I am not weighing or measuring anything. Now I am keeping an eye on the serving sizes. For example, I know that I'm using 1 bag of sweet potatoes per 2 containers. I know that I'm using 3 containers for the cauliflower rice. Even though they're not huge bags, I'm still spreading it out. So the only time that would be different is if I am making the meal like at dinner time and we are just putting them in our bowls. I can tell you with certainty, my portion sizes are definitely bigger than they are if I had prepped that same dish. So that's where prep helps me. Plus it's easy, right? I just grab it, heat it, eat it. But that's important for us. Now the cheese and meat sandwiches. Let me tell you how those started. It's gonna be a long video. More than what I ate today. Bonus video. For the meat and cheese sandwiches, my husband started buying at a gas station on his way home from work. He'd feel real tired and sluggish, And he got those one day and noticed it pepped him up. Y'all, he buys 2 of those and a pop, and it's like $10 every day at a gas station. So me in my infinite wisdom said, hey, buy me one of those on your way home. So I had him buy me one so I could physically see it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can make this so much cheaper. And so I did. And we all love them. So I make them and I put 2 in a little Ziploc bag. And then we just pull them as we want them. And they really come in handy. The other day, I grabbed one on my way to the bus stop for her because my sugar was going down. And I knew it'd be enough to hold me over. And it was. So if I didn't have that there, I would have gone for something that was convenient, but not so good for me. Chips, cookies. And I would have probably had to stop and get those things because I don't have them in here. If I buy chips for me, they're usually the Quest chips. Occasionally I'll have tortilla chips with salsa. Remember when I had that problem with tortilla chips and salsa a while back? Y'all, why didn't any of you remind me about pork rinds? I even have them here. I was like, I used to do this all the time. Like, how could I forget? I don't know, but that's what I do now. I don't have the tortilla chips, I do the pork rinds. Will I never have a tortilla chip? Of course I will. Of course I will. But I would like to be in control. As far as nacho goes, I use Quest chips for those all the time. I like them. Perfectly portioned, and like it gives you a dinner plate full of a meal. You spread them out, you add your cheese, you add your meat, your toppings, warm it up. Of course, cheese. You warm it up, and you're good to go. Portioned, completely keto. Dirty keto, but keto. Far better than anything else that I could get. So as far as that goes, I'm covered. So like I said, I'm not doing carnivore, I'm not doing keto, not doing low carb, not doing Atkins, not doing Weight Watchers, not doing Nutrisystem, not doing Whole30. I am trying to eat a little more clean, a little more whole foodish, but I'm not even giving that a name. Like I said before, I felt like I was a hamster on the diet wheel, never getting anywhere and never being able to get off of it. And if you're like me, and I bet most of you are, you can't wait to get to your goal weight so you can be normal. There's no such thing as normal anymore. Like, it took me a long time to realize that I'm never going to get to normal, because even if I got to my goal weight, I would have to continue to do this to stay there. I used to work with a lady. Gorgeous lady. Gorgeous. Beautiful figure, beautiful body, just gorgeous. Inside and out. She was just a beautiful person. And I'm sure she still is, but I've lost touch with her over the years. But whenever I'd be in the break room with her, she would always be on a diet. And I remember telling her, if I were you, if I looked like that, I would never diet. Ah, the naivety. Finally, she had enough of me making those comments. And I didn't mean it the way it came out, but it certainly did come out that way. One day she brought me pictures of what she used to look like. And she used to look like me. And I don't know, maybe 100 pounds less than me, but she was heavy. And she checks her weight on the scale. And anytime she gets 10 pounds above her goal weight, she starts to diet so she can stay there. And that made perfect sense to me then, I hope you're still there. I got a low battery notification. I'll try plugging it in, but my phone is funky. Sometimes it charges, sometimes it don't. So I'm going to cover you guys. Sorry. Oh, maybe I'm not. It's not going to reach. I'll have to make this quick. So it made perfect sense to me then why she was always dieting, even though she was drop dead gorgeous. And I'm not saying gorgeous is skinny, y'all. Don't twist it. But she was beautiful. And if I had that figure and could wear that wardrobe that she could do, my mentality back then was I'd never diet again. Thinking that there would be an end to this for me. But there isn't. So whatever I do needs to be functional and the rest of my life, right? It needs to be a lifestyle. So I've been struggling with carnivore and I've been struggling with keto. I struggled with Weight Watchers. I struggled with Nutrisystem. I did not struggle with Whole30 the first round. However, every round after that I've attempted, I've struggled with. It's a me thing. It's not a program thing. It's not a Weight Watcher thing or a Nutrisystem thing or a Whole30 thing, or a carnivore thing or a keto thing or a low carb thing. It's a Lisa thing. I get that. I know that. But that means I need to change things up. Anytime I feel restricted with a certain item, that is the certain item I crave. For example, the sweet potato or carrots or my Diet Coke. I can tell you I'm drinking less Diet Coke since I'm not trying to give it up. Although I am continuing to have that with the carbonated water because I prefer it that way now. Now, of course, when I go to McDonald's and I get a Diet Coke, it's got the it's the way it comes. It's not half carbonated water, half Diet Coke. And I will be having an excessive amount of Diet Coke tomorrow for sure, since we'll be on the road. For sure. So I definitely want to get the water in tonight. Make sure I take at least one bottle with me tomorrow or grab a bottle on the way. And the nice thing is they have a water cooler there so I can refill it. But I've come to the conclusion I don't want to be on a diet anymore. I don't want to be on a diet anymore. I'd love to get to where I don't even have to focus about what I'm eating. But I don't see that ever happening. Like, ever. Because, like my beautiful friend, when I get to my goal, I'm going to be needing to do the same thing. Oh, I'm a little off. I better get this back under control. If I've learned anything, it's that how fast it can get out of control. Y'all, I was over 100 pounds less than I am right now. Just a few years ago. Over 100 pounds less. In 2017, like literally a handful of years ago, give or take. Like, that's how fast it can creep on. I know people don't believe this unless you've experienced this, but it is nothing for me to gain 15 or 16 pounds and lose it overnight, just in water weight. My husband did the same thing. He was retaining a lot of water. His doctor upped the water pill dosage and he literally lost it overnight. His body just wasn't releasing it the way it needed to. And mine does the same thing. And carbs make it worse. Especially the unhealthy carbs. So can I never have carbs again? Of course I can. Should I? Probably not. Will I? Yeah, I probably will. So how can I make this work for me for the rest of my life? I need to balance it. And I've always been a very black and white person. I'm either all the way to this side or all the way to this side. And I never seem to be in the middle where the balance is. I'm like that ethically, morally, with the way I eat, with the way I do things. I'm very much an all or nothing person. So that is, I need to change that mindset. I just do. I need to change that mindset. So that's something I need to work on, and I am. But I feel free that I can come on here now and just show you what I'm eating. And I don't know why I didn't take a clip of breakfast this morning. I think because it's chaotic. Let me explain. When we get breakfast out, the dog also gets a sandwich. And he is not the most patient person. Well, he's not a person. Most patient pet. And I tear the sandwich up for him. And then my husband will put it on the floor for him to eat off the wrapper. But the entire time that I'm trying to do that, I have a chaotic, spinning, whining puppy knocking everything off my table, trying to be as patient as he cannot be to get to that. Like, he's obsessive. He'd be a great commercial for McDonald's. McDonald's, I've got the dog for you. Free cheeseburgers and he's ready to go. But seriously, he's obsessed. Free cheeseburgers for him, free Diet Cokes for me. We got to do this right. But in all seriousness, it's chaotic. And I think by the time I'm done with that, it's just, I just check my sugar, take my insulin, and I eat. And I didn't think of it. So I need to be more conscious of that. So I'm getting the clips of everything. I will try to take at least pictures if I don't get videos tomorrow of what I'm eating. I don't know how easy that'll be because some of it may be eating while we're driving. My husband can't do that, but I can. So usually if I'm the one driving, then I eat while we go. If he's the one driving, then we eat and then go. If that makes sense. Like I can manage, but he's not accustomed to that. And there are people who can't. And there are people who can. I'm one of the cans. So I will try. And if I don't, I will try to at least let you know what I've eaten. But I do feel freer to show you and express what I'm actually consuming. And as weird as it is, I don't have pop in front of me right now. Or water, which is even stranger. If I'm awake, I'm drinking something, either water or pop. Now, my pop is cut with water, so I'm getting quite a bit of water, but I need more plain water, if that makes sense. Also, my walking. Let's talk about my walking, shall we? Yes, I'm still walking. However, I'm barely still walking on purpose. So I am upping my activity around the house. I'm trying to increase that. But I also want to continue to increase walking on purpose. So I need to get better at that. I'm doing it, but I need to get better at it. We're about to enter soccer season as well, as we're just getting into tennis season. So there is some walking going on for me soon. I need to be ready to do it. So that is where I'm at with all that. I guess this turned into kind of an update video. I only intended to tell you what I ate this morning. I tend to ramble on if you're new here. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you have subscribed, you understand, you know how I am. I start with one thing and I bounce all over. That's me. But I do feel good. I feel fine. I feel better now that the scale's starting to drop again. I was getting a little concerned and I was already contemplating, okay, what do I need to change up? And maybe that's part of the problem. maybe I'm trying to change up things too soon. Like I'm not giving things a chance to really work fully for me. So I'm trying to cut back a little bit on that and give this a real shot, because this is the most food freedom I've felt, if that makes any sense. So am I anti-carnivore, anti-keto, anti-low carb, anti-Weight Watchers? No. But when I say they didn't work for me, what I really mean is I didn't work them. Because that's the reality. If I could have stayed focused and on plan, absolutely it would have worked for me. 100%. Any of those programs would have. Now, I will say though, with Weight Watchers, when I first started it years ago, I would follow the plan to a T. And I would lose 0.1 or gain a pound or gain 0.2, and I was following the plan. Back then, that bothered me a lot. And it would give me this why even try attitude. Fast forward a few years later, shortly after I became a diabetic, my best friend and my husband and I were doing Weight Watchers together. And they were doing quite well. My husband lost 19 pounds the first week of Weight Watchers. He was holding on to that much water. My friend did well. I don't remember what she lost, but she did well. I did not. Followed it to a T. It was my medicine. A prescription the doctor had had me on for the diabetes was actually causing me to not be able to lose weight, which is the last thing you need as a diabetic who's overweight. It just is. Because losing weight may make you not a diabetic anymore. And cutting the carbs certainly would. And I was definitely cutting the carbs back then. So that was very, very frustrating. That really messed with me bad. I have not done Weight Watchers since then. And probably never will. It wasn't Weight Watchers' fault. It was my medication's fault. But it's just not something I ever desire to do again because of those experiences. Now, Carnivore, y'all, I was doing so great on that. And then when I had a cheat meal, it just threw me off. And then trying to get back, it kept getting harder and harder for me. So, yeah, I just never really got back like I needed to. And I think if I could have, I would have been golden. You know what I mean? Keto, same thing. I just always wanted something else. Like I wanted the burger with the bun. I didn't need the bun. I could have used a keto bun. Like, there are so many options, y'all. Carry a keto bun with you. Take it with you. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Get your burger. Change the bun. You're golden. But I didn't do those things. Do I know to do those things? Yes. In fact, I should do those things tomorrow when we're out and about. Because even your breakfast sandwich, change the bun. No, I'm not kidding. And it's delicious. It is. So, I don't know. Will I change the bun tomorrow? I don't know. It really depends on how chaotic it is when we get out the door. Because before we can leave, we have to get my daughter on the bus. And then after that, we need to go. So, it just depends. But that's where prep is good for me. One of the problems I have is when my husband is not working, when he's off, his days off, he likes to go to McDonald's for breakfast. I have breakfast prepped. Now, in fairness, we're pretty much, well, now we are. But even then, we were almost out of the breakfast sandwiches already. Y'all, I prepped those on the 12th. Well, I guess it lasted 4 days, 22 sandwiches. Between 3 people and a dog. Oh, I need to prep more of those. Those were a hit, and they kept people eating at home, and they kept my daughter eating healthier foods than she would normally have grabbed. She would grab that instead of pizza rolls or chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? For breakfast, y'all, for breakfast. So I definitely need to get more supplies for that and prep more for them. But as for me, I really like the breakfast bowls. I don't mind the sandwiches once in a while. I'd really like them with egg on it, but my husband doesn't like the texture of it reheated. So for me, I would have to make me some eggs and then just flip it on, which I could do. Not a problem. But it's not a priority for me. Like, those sandwiches are not a priority. Those are a once in a while thing, and I'm okay with that. But the breakfast bowls I really enjoy. And there's less carbs. Because there are not that many potatoes in that bowl, let me tell you. It is mostly egg and cheese. And meat. Mostly meat. Because it averages out to like 3 eggs. Now the sausage I use this time, and I need to hurry. Because A, I need to go get my daughter, and B, my battery's going to go dead. But the sausage I use this time, we're pulling things out of our freezer, were the Bob Evans original sausage patties, the little ones. And I just ground them up and fried them. And each bowl had approximately 3 in it of the crumbles. So that's not too bad. And the cheese, I didn't even measure this time. Last time I did, but I didn't measure this time. And I'm sure I got a little heavy-handed on it. I'm sure I did. But again, it's all new. We're doing great. I don't feel the need to measure yet. But if I start going south, that's the first place I'm going to start, is to measure. Because I can. I can gain more control that way if I need to. And tighten things up. We'll see. We'll see. If I do find going along the way I am, then I'm just going to keep doing that. But if I need to tighten things up, I will. And if I need to change things, I will. Because the alternative, I'm not okay with. All right, guys, I really got to go. I hope you all have a blessed day and enjoy the rest of the video. Bye, guys.